It was now time to decide on whether to leave this peaceful and idyllic Himalayan retreat and head on to a place often described in the same sentence as heaven on earth and a fire of animosity. A place that has been ravaged by 3 wars in the past 60 years and has borne witness to the deaths of over 45,000 civilians in the past 25. A place described by the Rough Guide to India as a war zone, and a place in the eyes of most governments around the world unbefitting to tourists. A place named Kashmir. Because of the gravity of this decision, we decided on taking a vote. In order to go, we had to have unanimous support.
Final decision-making time, and
how many hours?
after approximately 4 hours, Jason's decided that he's going to jump off the fence and say, let's go. King's decided that he wants to go, and he's always held that view.
So the final swing vote came down to Dan and his deliberations. The whole Kashmir trip was in his hands. Our last moments in MacLeod Ganj were spent preparing our gear and our thoughts for whatever lay ahead. We finished off our preparatory research on Holger Kirsten's book, Jesus Lived in India, which claims that Jesus died and is buried in Kashmir. Little did we know how researching this topic firsthand was to ignite tension.
We're about to get in a taxi, a bit late, still just packing up to get to Kashmir after deciding finally that we're actually going to go. So let's get a bit of input from the rest of the group. Listen, how do you feel about Kashmir?
I'm feeling pretty good now. I'm ready to get in that taxi. Yeah, let's go.
Dan, how do you feel about going to Kashmir specifically, not about how I beat you in the pay fight?
Well, it's a consideration that I'm in some pain now. But here we go, it's going to be great.
James?
Yeah, the word, actually. I'm really up for it, and I've got my knife with me, so beware any terrorists.
We're 100 kilometers from Srinagar. There are police and soldiers scouring the roads for roadside bombs with metal detectors. I'm getting slightly nervous about the situation. All's well.
We drove from the majority Buddhist town of MacLeod Ganj through the Hindu city of Jammu and on to the Muslim summer capital of Srinagar, all within 12 hours. These remarkable shifts in religious following highlighted the tensions that are present within Kashmir and the very real dangers of violence on the ground in the area. But it was just this very complex demography which intrigued us so.
We're now going to attempt to get back to our houseboats on our own in this boat. We don't really know where it is. Across the Lake of Kashmir, just in Srinagar.
Kashmir was part of the Mughal Empire after 1587 and was then annexed by the British in 1846. When the states of India and Pakistan were being formed during the partition of 1947, Kashmir's Maharaja had the choice of which country to accede Kashmir to. When Pakistani tribes raided across his border, he requested help from India and in doing so accepted Indian rule. The issue in Kashmir is fundamentally a religious one. 85% of Kashmiris are Muslim, and the Islamic Pakistani state objected to the accession of a Muslim land and people to the Hindu country of India. Pakistan invaded immediately and occupied part of Kashmir. The two countries have faced off over their lines of control ever since, with 3 wars and tensions building up to the threat of nuclear war in 2001. Terrorism is rife, and an attack occurs almost every day, with the political motivation of alteration of governance.
Here we are at the Mughal Gardens above the Dal Lake in Kashmir. Despite the huge military presence around, you just wouldn't know it. Around here, it's absolutely beautiful.
We would
originally planning to go to the potentially the tomb of one of the greatest and most influential men that ever lived, namely Jesus Christ. We were just about to go in when we were forcibly stopped by a young, fairly fanatic Muslim who would not let us in, demanded that we explain our presence and the fact that we were filming, and would not budge and would not let us in, which is a great shame.
Behind me is the Tourist Information Centre. 2 days ago, when we were here, from across from our houseboat, we saw massive plumes of smoke rising from central Srinagar, and it seems that this building was the cause of that smoke.
Our trip had coincided with the first bus to pass between Indian and Pakistani administered Kashmir in the past 60 years. In an attempt to disrupt this hugely important part of the peace process between the two countries, terrorists had fought their way to the bus start site and used explosives to burn it to the ground. The bus left the next day despite this, with the Indian Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh, waving it off.
What did you think once you found out that actually what you saw was a massive terrorist attack?
I felt a lot more scared than I had previously, and I realised quite how much of a war zone we really are in the middle of.
We left from that very same building the next day, headed for Delhi. The 30-hour drive down the infamously beautiful and dangerous Project Beacon highway gave us some time to mull over our disappointment at the barriers which had prevented our full investigation into the area. We had learnt some valuable lessons from the experience and comprehended so much better the rifts of misunderstanding that caused such meaningless and painful wars to be fought. But as we watched the spectacular scenery pass us, we couldn't help but ask why, as we left the land of ultimate contrast.